You may or may not have noticed that I have not uploaded a video within the past 3 weeks, and I wanted to make this video to kind of give an explanation as to why, as well as I wanted to make this video to inform or update friends, family members, just anybody who wants to know what's going on with me, Maddie, and our lives right now. As a warning, this video is going to be kind of sad, so if you don't feel like being sad right now or possibly crying, I would suggest you don't watch this, or if you just want to see a bunch of cat videos and pictures, cute, funny things, then just watch it without the audio. But I guess I'll start with January. Towards like the middle of January, our cat Apollo, he was kind of sick. As far as we were concerned, it wasn't anything big. It was just, he was having diarrhea, and it was just kind of like one of those things where he just assumed he maybe ate something he wasn't supposed to, or maybe he was, just a little small thing. Don't really think about it. And it didn't last very long. It lasted a couple days, maybe a week at the most. Lost a little bit of weight, but we just assumed that to the fact he was pooping a lot. Well, he was fine for a while. In the beginning of February, we noticed he was starting to walk funny. It was almost like he had weakness in his legs. He could still walk, he could still move them. It didn't hurt. Like, you could move around his legs, it didn't hurt him. But he wasn't able to really control it. When he tried to jump on the couch, he kind of flung around everywhere. When he walks, it almost looks like he's drunk, stumbling over, his legs kind of buckling underneath him, almost collapsing. We set an appointment for that, to go to the vet for that. But as you probably know, in Texas, we had the big winter week of below freezing for an entire week. And that Sunday was when the Sunday that it kind of started was the day that his vet appointment was set for. And that got delayed or got canceled because of the severe weather conditions. They were no longer open, and we had to delay it for a whole another week. And we were like, well, it's fine. He can still walk. He can still go to the restroom, eat, drink. He can go do it. He can get around. He just gets around funny. But literally within 24 hours, it got worse. He was walking worse. He could still kind of get to food and water, but we kind of noticed he hadn't really been eating that much today and drinking that much that day. And so we took him to the emergency vet that Monday night and didn't really get anything from it. And they don't seem overly concerned about it. They just told us to kind of watch for it. If it's getting worse, go to our vet appointment that was then scheduled for the next Sunday after being delayed, and maybe look into finding a specialist neurologist because it might be something neurological. But then within the next 2 days, it got even worse. He did not eat, did not drink, was having a hard time making it to the litter box. At certain points, he was just kind of dragging himself. I do have a video of that, but I'm not going to show it. I've been told that it was kind of hard to watch to the few people that did see it. And I don't want to make anyone that doesn't want to see that. But we took him, or I had to take him to the vet Wednesday. I had to drive through the ice and snow to take him to another 24-hour vet. And we were there for a long time. I got there around like 2. We ended up leaving until 7, but they did blood work. They did an x-ray. The x-ray didn't find anything wrong with his back legs. And then the blood work came in, and the doctor told me kind of, it's not a 100% confirmation, but because of what he knows and what, came through the blood work. So essentially there were certain levels that were low in Apollo's blood work. I can't remember what they were like, what it was called, but He said essentially that for any cats under a 0.8 on a certain thing, they more likely than not had FIP, and Paulo was at a 0.4. And because of what he knew about Paulo not eating and drinking and his legs and stuff, he said that he's can be almost certain that it's FIP. It's essentially a strand of COVID. You love hearing that word. Specifically for felines, that most cats either have it or get it at one point in their life, but a lot of the times they just pass it. It just goes away. They might get a little sick, or they might not get sick at all. They might just carry it, but usually it passes. Most cats do get it, but there is a small percentage. I can't remember the exact numbers. About 5%. I think it might even be less. I can't find the exact numbers to it. The virus mutates and becomes something more. And out of those cats, 95% of them die. It is fatal. And right now there is nothing. There's no medication. There's no treatment except for this thing. It's like GS and then a bunch of numbers, and it's not a labeled drug. It's on the black market. It's not available to the public. And it's also probably very expensive and not a guarantee. I've also read up that it's quite a stressful thing for both the cat and the owner because it makes the cat sick. And especially with Paulo's case, it said that cats with neurological damage, they have it worse. And I guess another thing I should state is that there are two forms of FIP. There is the wet form, which usually is a buildup of fluid, I believe in the lungs or something, that makes it hard for them to breathe. And usually that's how you can diagnose it, because you have that fluid to 100% diagnose it. And the reason why I say that he was not 100% is because Paulo most likely had the dry form because he could not find any fluid. And that one's harder to diagnose without further testing. But he said that we could do further testing, but with what he knows and what we could see, Apollo was deteriorating and there was no need for the further testing. The dry form does cause neurological damage. As I said before, he had the problems with his back legs, as well as him having weight loss, and the eyes can swell or have change, which we did notice. Apollo's eyes were very bright blue, very, very bright blue, the bluest eyes I've ever seen in a dog, cat at all. And towards the end of his life, they were very gray. They were almost like a greenish gray. He looked tired. Sorry, one second. We had to take him this past Sunday. I think it was the 21st. We had to take him this past Sunday to have him put down. He wasn't suffering really until that day. He just seemed tired. He'd have a hard time getting to the litter box. We had to buy a little thing temporarily to put next to where we were having him lay. And he was going off and hiding under the couch, being very unhimself. And like I said before, his eyes were super gray. He didn't even look like himself. Super skinny, wasn't eating, wasn't drinking. Sunday, he started having this really pitiful meow. We took him to the vet that afternoon, and we were in the room with him. We got to say goodbye. We got to be with him as he went, and it was just a super hard experience to see. But I've been told before that if we didn't do it, we'd probably regret it, and I do feel like that, even though it was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to witness. Because you hear, they're just going to sleep. It's just like they're going to sleep for the last time, but it's not. It's very different. You can tell within an instant of just touch, sight, all the senses basically. You can tell it's just completely different. It's nothing like sleeping, and it was just super hard to kind of. It didn't feel real. The whole week didn't feel real. The day before, the day of, up until the actual moment where the vet checked his heart and told us that he was gone, it did not feel real. And even right now, it doesn't really feel real. I come home and it's just like, it's kind of creepy how normal everything feels until you talk about it. I just, I just want to kind of let everybody know and kind of show everybody all these cute videos and pictures I have of him. And we will be hopefully getting his remains soon. We got a cute urn. It's a white cat, just like him. And some other things to have around. We bought a digital picture frame, and we have that in our living room so we can look at it all the time, and it's kind of like he's still here in a very minor way. But yeah, I don't think there's any more I can add to that part, but for this last part I do want to just talk about Apollo. He was an awesome cat. He was an amazing cat. He, along with his brother Odin and sister Iris, were our first 3 pets. We got them before we even moved out on our own. We got them a few months before we moved out, and they've always been a part of our home. And he was the happiest cat I've ever met. All of them super loving. None of them, like normal cats where you pet them for a little bit, they get annoyed and they scratch you or bite you. They loved being pet, or they love being pet. Apollo loved being pet the most. He purred so loud. He had the loudest purr. Actually, I think I have a video that you can really hear his purr. And he would purr constantly. You pet him, he purrs. You didn't even have to pet him, you sat next to him, and I don't know if it was the anticipation of getting pet or because he just loved you next to him, but he would purr. He was just so happy all the time. He was so cuddly. He just slept all day. That was his favorite thing to do, was just sleep. You sat on the couch, he was right on top of you. He never liked to be by himself. He always followed us. If we went to the living room and watching TV or eating, he'd come with us and he'd lay either next to us or on us. We'd go to the bed to lay down. He would lay either on one of us or lay above our head on one of the pillows above our heads. And he was just a sweet boy. He was so sweet. He just got very unlucky. And I'm going to miss him so much. And our house is going to be so much different. Home's not going to be the same without him. His brother and sister are going to miss him very much. And he made a difference in our life. Maddie says that he's one of the main animals that would comfort her when she was feeling extra depressed. He helped her a lot with her anxiety and depression. He seemed to just kind of know when she was having a moment, and he'd lay on her. He was just the softest. He shed so much, but now we have so much hair around our house. We're never gonna be without him. And I'm glad. Thank you for listening, and I guess a preemptive thank you for anyone who reaches out with thoughts and kind words. And I love you all.